quite frankly, it's going to take a knockout bomb, a knockout atomic bomb, to even ruffle the feathers of Big Pharma. Pulling back the curtain on the organized crime ring that is the pharmaceutical drug cartel. Years ago, the largest pharmaceutical company in the world, Pfizer Pharmaceutical, made a drug called Bextra. Bextra was approved by the Food and Drug Administration for the use of menstrual cramps. It was approved for the use of menstrual cramps and something else, I forget, menstrual cramps and some other type of pain. But the reps for Pfizer Pharmaceutical illegally told doctors all around the world that you could use it for many different things that the Food and Drug Administration had not approved Bextra for. So there was a big kerfuffle, and the largest settlement ever paid out by a company was paid, $3 billion. Pfizer Pharmaceutical paid. But Pfizer Pharmaceutical created a shell corporation to plead guilty in federal court to the charges, because if the parent company, Pfizer Pharmaceutical, the actual company that made the drug, the actual company that hired the employees, the actual company that was culpable and guilty of the wrongdoings, if Pfizer itself took the hit, it would have been illegal for them to do anything with Medicare or Medicaid. It would have been illegal for them to do anything with Medicare or Medicaid. And they were too big to nail, too big to nail. This is like, let's say you broke the law. Let's say that you were caught speeding in your automobile, or that you robbed a bank. Let's take it a step up further. Let's say that you robbed a bank and you were caught red-handed. And you were taken into court, and rather than charging you with the crime, you went home and, and they let you out on bail, and you created a shell corporation. You created a shell corporation, and the court fined the shell corporation for robbing the bank, not you, and you were able to walk, and the shell corporation had to, go to jail and pay the fine. Corporations aren't really people, although that's what the law says they are. That's exactly what Pfizer Pharmaceutical did. The rationale being that if the company itself was shut down, by the way, $3 billion in fines is 3 months' worth of profit. 3 months' worth of profit to Pfizer Pharmaceutical. 3 months' worth of profit. Now, nothing happened because they're still doing business with the United States government. Wouldn't you love to have a job like that? This is the tip of the iceberg. No less than 19 pharmaceutical companies made allbusiness.com's top 100 corporate criminals list for the 1990s. 19 pharmaceutical companies in the top 100 corporate criminals list for the 1990s. And that trend has increased into the 21st century. Crimes committed by some of the most well-known drug companies include fabricated studies. We know this. This is an academic fact that when a pharmaceutical company rolls out a new drug, they'll do in-house testing. So let's say they do 50 tests on the drug. 40 of them show a negative response to the drug, and 10 of them show a positive response. They only publish the 10 positive studies. They don't publish any of the negative studies. Covering up serious problems with their drugs is a well-known thing that drug companies do. False claims, bribery, illegal kickbacks, defrauding Medicare and Medicaid, and even the Food and Drug Administration itself. Also, immoral threat and intimidation tactics. Merck actually had a hit list of doctors to be neutralized or discredited for criticizing the lethally dangerous painkiller Vioxx. Quote, "We may need to seek them out and destroy them where they live," unquote, a Merck employee wrote, according to an email excerpt read in court. Ladies and gentlemen, as bad as you think pharmaceutical corruption, graft, and manipulation of the medical marketplace is, it is a million times bigger. As God is my witness. The pharmaceutical industry, the people that were responsible for the Zyklon B gas that killed the inmates of the German concentration camps, the people responsible for doing human experimentation on the inmates of the concentration camps in World War II in Germany, the same people selling your children Bayer aspirin, the same people killing people left, right, and center, Vioxx, 500,000 people killed, nobody went to jail. Bextra, illegal profiteering, illegal schemes by the food and drug, by Pfizer Pharmaceutical, and they create a shell corporation to take the hit so that they can keep giving drugs to the American public, because according to the cultural myth that we're all embedded in, without drugs we'd all suffer and die. Honest to God, quite the opposite is in fact the truth. The leading cause of death in the United States is prescription medications and treatments delivered by medical doctors. It's the leading cause of death. Eclipses heart disease and cancer. Your medical doctor kills more people than guns. Your medical doctor kills more people than guns. For goodness sake, why are we all up in arms about gun control? We should be really have a congressional inquiry into medical doctor control, all things being equal. And now, you know, the big thing is the Food and Drug Administration excuse me, has rolled out new regulations for nutritional supplement companies, raising the bar a little higher for a nutritional supplement manufacturer, keeping the general public safe from the bad and evil nutritional supplement company that doesn't have any eye at all on quality control. This, of course, is nonsense, and it is a smokescreen designed solely to make it harder for nutritional supplement companies to bring stuff to the marketplace for profit. Because if all of a sudden I have to do 3 times as much testing as I did last year, if my overhead is going to increase 3 times as much, I'm either going to have to increase the cost of my products by 3 times, or I'm going to have to stop selling them, and guess what? They want them to stop selling them. Meanwhile, the food and drug, the pharmaceutical industry, I often get those two confused because they are in fact in bed with each other. 1/3 of the medical representatives hired by the Food and Drug Administration to assess the effectiveness of drugs work for the companies that make the drugs. You kidding me? Can this type of BS happen in any other industry? Well, perhaps it can happen in Congress. Perhaps it can happen in the United States Senate. Perhaps it happens other places. But, you know, this is not good. It's not just. And the only person that benefits from this are the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals. The patient certainly doesn't benefit from this. And yet, on and on we go, marching one day at a time towards our oblivion. So what they're doing is the pharmaceutical industry is quietly buying up vitamin companies. They're buying up vitamin companies. Buying up vitamin companies so that once they hold the market share on the vitamin companies, once they own the majority share of nutritional supplement companies in the United States, they can rewrite the laws regulating how nutritional supplements are made, and they're going to destroy the nutritional supplement industry, not by the way that Codex Alimentarius did it in the United Kingdom or in the European Union. Codex Alimentarius was a law that was adopted by members of the European Union, which only allow the sale through a public market of vitamin and nutritional supplements which are unbelievably weak. Unbelievably weak. You know, 1 milligram of calcium, that's okay, but certainly not 1,500. Don't quote me on those numbers, but you get the idea. This way is a little more insidious. This way, they're just going to quietly buy up nutritional supplement companies, then they're going to glad hand legislators to pass laws, and since they're going to be in the majority of the ownership of nutritional supplement companies, they're not going to protest. The other supplement companies will, but it will fall on deaf ears because they own the lion's share of the marketplace, and then that's how they're going to close the nutritional supplement industry. You don't think they've thought this through? You don't think they're planning this out? The pharmaceutical industry, you know how much money they have? You know how much power they have? You know how corrupt it is? And you know, I consider myself a spiritual person. I don't have an affiliation with any of the major world religions. I dabbled in Catholicism when I was younger, but I'm better than that now. But there is, in fact, something that all major world religions talk about, and it's the presence of evil. It is the presence of Satan or satanic forces, or forces for light, forces for dark. And many of the major world religions argue that the earth is, in fact, under the control of the dark forces. And I'm more and more inclined to believe this. I don't have any direct spiritual insight on this matter, but I'm an open-minded, objective, clear thinker, and all I have to do is look around. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. The leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical treatments. The largest profiteers in the world are the drug companies. The drug companies create drugs that don't cure disease. The drug companies make it illegal for anybody but MDs to practice medicine. The MDs make it illegal for anybody but oncologists to treat cancer. The pharmaceutical industry corners the market on the distribution of medical technology, corners the market on medical research, and they're the biggest profiteers in the world, and they're the biggest killers of people in the world. Now, you put all those things together, and what does that add up to? Well, it makes me think that the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, is controlled by the dark forces, if you believe in such things. Now, I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you what's right and what's wrong. I'm here to simply line up the facts and let you come to your own conclusions. Ladies and gentlemen, one more reason to fire your medical doctor now, because all signs point. Listen, if it looks like a duck, flies like a duck, smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, hey what? It's probably a duck. In this naturopathic physician's humble opinion, the pharmaceutical industry is in the pocket of the dark forces of the world. One more reason for you to run screaming from your MD's office. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, taking your phone calls. When we come back, let's get her done. It's Thursday, the 17th day of October, 866-582-9933. Give me a call. One of our longevity members sent us a nice link to a video done by Anderson Cooper, of all people, a couple of years ago about the Bextra Pfizer connection. If you visit fireyourmdnow.com, go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, and sign up for my free email newsletter. I'll send you a link to the video. It's for today only. Visit the website, sign up for my free newsletter, and I'll send you a link to the video that Anderson Cooper put together about the nightmare that is the pharmaceutical industry. It's Thursday, so you know what that means. One of our most reliable guests here, the Commander, a.k.a. Mark Denning, a.k.a. the Wellness Warrior himself, is with us. Welcome aboard, Commander. How's it going today?
I'm good, Dr. Glidden. Good point you made. When you don't have Vioxx, then you can have Bextra, because it was another non-steroidal anti-inflammatory substitute.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so the meme that keeps all of this moving forward, of course, is the ridiculous notion that these companies are too big to fail, and that, for goodness sake, if their corruption and collusion is so much that they break the law, and as a penalty for breaking the law, they can no longer do business with Medicare or Medicaid, which basically means they're going to be out of business.
Right.
Oh, we can't do that because now the American citizens are not going to have access to their drugs. And, well, bravo. I think that's a great thing.
I think that's awesome.
If we don't let the marketplace sort itself out, it never will. And this is one of the reasons why the pharmaceutical industry and the MDs stay in first place, because we don't have a free medical market. Because when they break the law and when they screw up, there's no penalty. Well, there's no moral penalty. There's a financial penalty, but it's a drip in the freaking bucket. And, the market does not have time to adjust. I mean, if it did have time to adjust, perhaps more and more people would be fans of holistic medicine and actually be getting their health back instead of taking rides in your ambulance.
Yeah, that's true. Yesterday was another enterprising day. This patient had a heart attack, and young man in his 50s, wonderful family. We sat on this. We were waiting for this call. We got timed up on what was going on. He had his heart was more machine than it was man. My partner characterized it, and it was very true. I mean, even, the commander in his infinite wisdom, we take people that are on cardiopulmonary bypass, like when you go in for open heart surgery, they put you on the pump a lot of times, and so you have to take over for the heart. And that's basically what we did on the ambulance yesterday, and we had another device in him, and there were so many IVs, just to name them all, just blow people away. And then to take him 40 miles to maybe get the appropriate care that he needs at a place with more resources. That's the thing that I do. These things take time. These things take thought. The forethought, I have to think of everything, how much oxygen's in that rig, what kind of electrical capabilities we have, because we have to plug in all this stuff. And then for me to keep track of all those numbers and work with a team, my team, and it's just, it drains me sometimes. But this guy had a warning light, before, because he had stents put in for clogged arteries in his heart, and he didn't listen to it. And a couple of days ago, he suffered, and my heart goes out to the family. They seem very nice, and we just pray everything that comes out okay for him in that realm. He'll need some help, but hopefully, family will get in touch, and we'll move from there.
So this is the thing, right? So this is how modern American medicine works. They don't fix anything. They don't prevent anything. Nope. And when somebody has a problem, you've got blocked arteries. So what happens? So you go to the only medicine that you have access to, MD-directed medicine. They put a couple of stents in your heart. They don't tell you about what caused the clogged artery to begin with because they're clueless about it. They don't tell you that the average heart stent has a 5-year shelf life. They don't tell you that the procedure does not get to the root cause of the disease because from their point of view, they do not believe you can fix it because they think it's genetic and it's just a matter of time until your heart explodes. So go home and play with your family, buddy, and then we'll see you in a couple of years in the emergency room when your heart finally gives out. And this is why we have such an unbelievably piss-poor economy, because so much money goes to propping up this type of Machiavellian nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an evil empire. I said it out loud. Dr. Peter Glidden reminding you to fire your MD now. More with the commander when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thursday, the 17th day of October, 2013. Talking to the commander. Check him out at Wellness Warriors. It's with a Z, Wellness Warriors on Facebook. So, we're big advocates, of course, of the gluten-free life, and we tell this to people all the time. But, human nature being what it is, every once in a while somebody's going to fall off of the wagon. And we're seeing more and more of this lately, isn't that right?
Yeah, I just had a couple of the Warriors hit me up the other day. What? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Even one time the commander, it could be non-intentional, right? Because, again, we try to control as much as we eat and what we're eating and what's in it, but sometimes when you eat out and you try to make the best choice possible, it ends up being a poor choice. And for me, it's like getting run over by a semi-trailer. So that can make it a little bit difficult. So.
Well, the good news about this is the old adage, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and sometimes someone has to be slapped upside the side of the head so that they can finally catch a clue, right?
Absolutely.
So it's one thing if you or I or the man in the moon tell somebody to be gluten-free, and it's quite another thing if people have a direct personal experience that after they've been off of gluten for a while and then they fall back, onto it, they feel like crap. And so this is a kind of, tough love. But I think it's a better way for people to understand just how bad this stuff is. And really, man, Every time it happens to people, as I really think about this whole concept of gluten and, you know, where it comes from and what it does and the insidious nature of it on our health, it's remarkable to me how much of it there is in the culture and how many people eat it unwittingly, thinking that it's the healthy thing to do, when it is exactly the opposite of health. And it slowly whittles away at your health, and it is a big, bad voodoo daddy. You know, which is one more nail in the coffin for the thought form that the world that we live in is controlled by something which has ill will at its heart. I'm really starting to think this more and more, that the people pulling the strings behind the curtains here on good old planet Earth, you know, have aligned themselves with dark forces, because how else could something that's supposed to be the healthiest food in the world and everybody in the world eats it be exactly the opposite? I mean, how could something like that happen if there wasn't something nefarious behind the scenes propping it all up? And this is as out there as I'm ever going to get on this radio show, ladies and gentlemen. But like the fella said, if it looks like a duck and flies like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And it's remarkable to me that this type of nonsense persists over and over and over, and we see it all the time.
Yeah, so what can we do to help them, Dr. G?
Well, you know, well, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. When you fall off of the wagon, you just have to burn that into your frontal cortex and understand how bad this stuff is, because the secret solution here is to just stop eating gluten. The only thing that you can do once you've, developed net negative reactions from eating gluten is just ride it out. I mean, what the heck can you do to recover from a hangover? Not a whole lot. You just have to ride it out and let time go by. You just have to ride it out. Maybe a little Mackey Plus, right? Maybe some digestive enzymes, maybe some root beer belly. These things would be good ideas. But really, the operative thing is time. Time is the biggest healer here. And, for goodness sake, tie a string around your finger so that the next time you even think about eating gluten, you look at that and withdraw quickly. But, it's a big thing in the teenage community, and it breaks my heart when I look at what teenagers eat. Cereal for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, Subway, pizza, bagels, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whole wheat all the time, and we wonder why there's so much autism.
It's like you said, people don't know what they don't know, and that's a big part of things out now. That's a big part of it. You lay that out so simple. It's one of the best pie charts I've ever seen you put up there.
Yeah, and about that, let's talk about that for a minute. We don't know what we don't know, and nobody knows everything, but the skill set that we bring to the table is unique, and it's much needed right now, and we're going to take that to a different level on tonight's webinar. Tonight's webinar for Dr. Glidden, Insiders Only, What to Take and Why. What to take and why. Kind of bringing it all down to earth, the simple solutions for health recovery. This is at tonight at 8 o'clock on the webinar for Dr. Glidden, Insiders Only. $20 a month. Go to the website, become a subscriber, cancel at any time.
Exactly.
Get to the event tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time. What to take and why, helping you to simplify your understanding of longevity products, when to take them, how to take them. Because, look, man, healing is easy. And let's try to drive this home with a couple of phone calls, Commander. Why don't we go to Florida now and talk to Ruth about some eczema. Hey, Ruth, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hello?
Hello, Ruth. Come on in.
Hey, I have a problem.
Yeah, can you hear? Hello, come on in.
Yes, I have a problem, cold that I've been having for probably, 6-7 years now. That never goes over.
You've had a head cold for 7 years?
Yes, colds, sometimes rare coughing, and that never goes away.
Well, that's interesting.
Another problem that I have, I don't know if it's due to constipation. When I go to bathroom, it's very difficult and get to a point I bleed.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to have to turn down your radio because we're hearing feedback. We're getting a lot of feedback coming through the line here. So the first thing to consider whenever you're dealing with constipation is you need to drink more water, you need to have an apple a day, and you need to eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And there's a relationship in the allergic arena between the consumption of wheat, barley, rye, and oats. I think that you have a low-grade allergy to grain, and I think that simply by eliminating wheat, barley, rye, and oats from your diet, that it's going to go a long way towards helping your body to not be constipated anymore and for there not to be a consistent assault to your immune system making you have these symptoms. So the recommendation would be eliminate the 10 bad foods and take one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Commander, any thoughts?
You know, a lot of times, so at least, you know, when we do the healthy digestion pack, what might also be impactful is to get some colloidal silver on board to get rid of the bad voodoo daddy bacteria and viruses and stuff in your intestines so that your body can recoup and build a strong defense. Some of the other things you can do, too, I noticed that if you drink beef broth, chicken broth, of course not processed, make your own. And if you eat a lot of processed foods, to knock that off, you know, stick to your vegetables, your fruit, and your meats. One of the good ways to tell how good your digestion is to eat corn. And then when it passes through you, to notice how many hours. It takes more than 12 hours. Your digestive tract's not doing the best it can do. So that's just a poor man's way, but a rich way to know that everything's going through the plumbing in the right way. How about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. And the best way to do that is to get the corn kernels that are frozen and to get a teaspoon of the frozen corn kernels and just swallow them. Wash them down with a glass of water. Don't chew them. Swallow the whole kernels, frozen kernels whole, and start your stopwatch and see how long it takes for them to come out the other end. Our advice to you is eliminate the 10 bad foods. No wheat, no barley, no rye, no oats, and get on board with one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Give us a call back in about 6 weeks with a report. Going from Florida to Georgia to see what Jay is up to. Hey, Jay, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. G, Jay from Atlanta. Good to see you in Villa Rica. About 6 weeks ago, I still want to camp out a little bit with my wife, Candy. She was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism back on May the 8th, and I've talked to you a couple of times since then, and we've kind of adjusted some things. Right now, her blood work is good, and all her symptoms are good, and her nodules in her throat have gone down, more than half, probably 2/3. So she's doing good in that. This morning, her hands were a little shaky, which she hadn't had any shaking in her hands. But there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about that is she's concerned with. She's 49 years old. And she was around 115 pounds, with no potential, in pretty good shape as far as no fat, no anything like that. However, since the longevity program and the protocol and the good foods, bad foods list strictly, she has gained about 10 pounds. Okay. Right now, she's a little concerned with retaining water. She told me yesterday that her hands, or she's got some inflammation. She was telling me yesterday her fingers feel like they're going to pop out of the skin. Now, I can't tell by looking at her that she's inflamed, but she says her cheeks are a little, feel like they're inflamed, like she's either retaining water or she's, has inflammation. She's concerned with what may be going on with her, and also, is it normal for her to gain the 10 pounds eating the same foods that she has been the whole longevity protocol ever since the May 8th. No wheat, rye, barley, oats, and none of that stuff. And she's wondering, she's kind of wondering what is going on. Is this going to be a normal thing? Has her thyroid gone from hyper back to normal, and that's why she's gained the weight back? Is her body actually normalizing? So
it could be, and these symptoms are way too vague, and of course we can't diagnose stuff over the phone, right? But what we can do is lean on our understanding that the body knows what's best for it. Now, there's a couple of possibilities here. It's possible that the extra weight is normal and healthy, and that she's just not used to it because she's been messed up her entire life. The next thing that's possible is it is, in fact, water weight. If it is water weight, that's because she's not absorbing protein efficiently.
Right.
If she's not absorbing protein efficiently, she needs to add the digestive enzyme into her diet. First of all, she needs to make sure that she's eating adequate amounts of protein every day. So, and we're up against a hard break here, Jay, but the recommendation for her would be start salting her food so that it tastes good. Double up on her calcium dose. Get a bottle of the ultimate digestive enzymes. Take those before a meal and make sure 50% of the food on her plate is protein. Protein. And they have her do that for 7 days. Look to see if the water weight doesn't fall off. And, if everything stays the same with her doing those things, I'm going to say it's a normal thing. We just need to give the program more time to see how it all rolls out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Due to circumstances beyond my control, we're only live today, Thursday the 17th, for the first hour. Let's get as many calls as we can. And you still with me, Commander?
I'm here.
All right, let's go to Pam in Michigan. Hey, Pam. You are
Hello.
live. Hi, Pam. Thanks for the call. What's
Pam.
up?
Hi, how are you? This is Pam. I have a friend that had fallen down the stairs, and this was 3 years ago, and she had total hip surgery and just this last week, and we want to know what to do to help her. She's diabetic.
Well, this is really pretty easy. Had you come to us 3 years ago, we might have been able to prevent the surgery. Of course, the MDs only know surgery. So, Commander, I'm going to give you a softball, buddy. What are we going to do?
So what do we got? Diabetes, and she had a bad hip, huh?
Yeah.
She had fallen down the stairs, and she did not get anything done for 3 years. And so now it was so bad she was unable to walk. And so now she's had the surgery, total hip surgery.
Well, at least, you called us now, but like Dr. Glidden said, it would have been great. Preventative is always the way to go, and, excuse me, but, still the healthy bone and joint pack will be very effective for her, and get her off the 10 bad foods.
Pam, what's her body weight, do you know?
Yeah.
Her body weight is 135, and she's 58, I believe.
All right, so the recommendation would be one healthy bone and joint pack, 2 bottles of selenium, one healthy bone and joint pack, 3 bottles of selenium, 3 bottles of selenium, 1 extra bottle of the white liquid calcium Beyond Osteo FX, and 1 bottle of Sweeties. So that's 1 bottle of Sweeties, 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX, 3 bottles of selenium, and 1 healthy bone and joint pack. Plus, eliminate the 10 bad foods. She should see remarkable, noticeable, measurable improvement within 2 weeks. If she's only 135 pounds, within 2 weeks of starting the program. So check it out, Pam. We got to move on to another call today. Thanks so much for the call. Best of luck. Going to finish it out with Anita in California. Anita, thanks for calling. You are live.
Yes, hi, doctor. Thanks for taking my call. I was calling because I do have a cousin, one of my cousin's sons, who's 4 years old, and she was telling me that he's behind with learning, and she was hoping that maybe, she could start him on something to help him, improve in that manner.
Well, in a perfect world, he would have been starting on something, while he was in utero, and the mother would have been taking a full complement of medical nutrition.
Exactly.
But, we can't go back in time. So
Right.
the recommendation here is
Exactly.
easy. It's just the Healthy Start Pack. Just the child needs one Healthy Start Pack for 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. And, Commander, we give kids the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Osteo FX in popsicle form all the time. Isn't that a great way to do it?
Absolutely. That's an awesome way to do it. That's an awesome way. Is she with the Wellness Warriors?
I'm sorry?
Are you on Facebook?
No. What do you mean?
Well, we have a support group. We have a support group on Facebook. It's called the Wellness Warriors. That's WARRIORZ. You can get more support, kind of plug into a community of like-minded people on Facebook. But really, the recommendation for this child is simple and straightforward. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and give them one Healthy Start Pack. One Healthy Start Pack. You should see a noticeable, measurable improvement within 4 days. We love helping children because their bodies are so small and they're still in the growing mode that they really respond to medical nutrition with a great deal of facility. Check it out, Anita. Get with the person
and then
that told
also, I would like some information about myself.
Well, we're up against a hard break today, Anita, and we can't help you. You're going to have you call back tomorrow. I'll put you in the rack. If you call back at the top of the show tomorrow, I'll answer your question first. Apologize, but I can't do anything about the time signature. Commander's been with us today. Check him out at Wellness Warriors, and hopefully if you get on board with Youngevity, you will not end up in his ambulance. Thank you, Commander. See you later, everybody. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back live in the saddle tomorrow, Friday, the 18th of October. And tonight, my webinar for Dr. Glidden Insiders Only, What to Take and Why, 8 o'clock Central Time. See you there.